So I ran out of steam last night bringing in the nukes. So these girls will be going in right now. They are all nicely treated for oxalic, ready to be put away for winter. Hey, get away from there. Come on, get out of here. Treating on that syrup. You're gonna wreck these things. Come on, get out of here. Get. Oh, stop it. You too. This is not a place for pigs. Silly little animals. Hammy and Wilbur. Turning into pets. So it looks like Carrie's got quite a bit of work done here so far with the excluders. All nicely cleaned and stacked, ready to be used next year. And the old tank is refilled. So we purge the water out of this tank, I don't know, every 200 or so excluders. Just because we're putting all these excluders through the same bath, it's probably a good idea to switch the water out just to help with that whole, disease transfer issue. Look at the amount of waste off it. Now the propolis here is useless because it's been heated in the water bath there. A little bit of wax in here we'll probably press out. So these excluders can get pretty gummed up if we don't provide a little bit of maintenance. You can still see through there. But if we left these not cleaned, they get pretty thick. Be a good job done. It's what I call cost recover. I used to get somebody to custom clean these excluders for me, but as I go, I start focusing on these jobs and provide the facility to do the jobs ourselves, just to keep my employees busy during slower times. Just work around on that maintenance and that cost we save from paying out to have a custom done. I just recapture with the wages that I pay my guys in the slow times. So it just helps, bring my operation full circle. Recover some of that cost to be able to, fund the employees on my farm. And it works very well. Six degrees. Plenty warm inside here for only half the hives inside. Now that I have the door open and it's 6 degrees inside here, I'm gonna have a little bit of bee flight. Not much though. This time of year it's really easy to keep the bees in the boxes, but there's a few flying around already. It's warm and they see the light, so they just get up and fly. For the most part, get back in there, you got a winter. They'll settle back down. Now the door is open, the shed's gonna cool pretty quickly. It's about 5 degrees out, minus 5 degrees outside. So that'll get the shed temperature down a bit. That should hold them in the boxes. Next week they're talking, above temperatures up in the double digits for most of next week, which I'm quite excited about. It's gonna help me get caught up with all my bee work, like all the treatments. And they might even take some flight, so get some late fall, early winter flight. They'll help them get through the winter. I'm thinking, these guys should be outside for that too. It's too bad these hives are missing that opportunity. But it is what it is. This time of year, you know, we gotta chisel down that workload. And if I, just wait and don't get my work done, then I get caught in situations like 2 feet of snow or, a foot of mud. And we have things to do on the farm. I'm being pulled in different directions. So I just, focus, try to get your work done. It's end of October into November. Get them inside. Just kind of holding the brakes a little bit now because the other ones, this is going to be ideal. This warm weather coming through will be absolutely ideal to treat for oxalic acid because there won't be any brood left. When we treated these colonies middle of October, there might have been some brood there. There probably was a bit, but we had to push just to get things before things got cold. That cold weather caught me off guard. I couldn't get half my apiary treated, so I risked going into winter with only half my hives treated with oxalic. But this nice weather is now prevailing as a forecast, which will provide me just the perfect conditions to treat these colonies. They'll be broodless. It's going to be double digits, so these hives will be loose. Like the video I showed yesterday, tipping back those colonies, they're tight. I mean, they're tight together, they're clustered right up. And when they're like that, the vapor can't penetrate into the cluster to be able to target those mites. So with the temperature up 10 degrees, 15 degrees, those clusters will be loose. Those will be, if not flying, those bees might even be flying. So we'll better get that vapor into the colony, penetrate the cluster, and should be able to target all those bastard mites. And then, as soon as that warm weather leaves us and we're expecting cold weather after that, then I can bring in the last of the apiary. It should take me 2 or 3 days, get the last of them in, and then that'll be it for the year. There's the nukes into the shed, and over half of my hives now. So another 15 yards to go. I should, by the end of next week, I should be able to have everything tucked away into this shed. I've done this how many times now? You'd think I'd have things figured absolutely perfect in fitting these hives in, but I seem to fit them in different every year, which is fine. I mean, you put down rows, which is fine, but then I kind of sort my nukes in a little different in single stacks. So this leaves, this year I have just a little bit of wasted space down the aisle. But the most traveled area in this shed will be down this line between the nukes and between the hives. Just as I naturally come in and fuss and check in on my babies through the winter. I've already started sweeping bees. Look at that. Dead bees already. So it all starts again. But maybe, as you can tell, I'm just procrastinating a little bit because it is a miserable day out there today. My brother just sent me a text showing me he's got trees, like he's 50-foot spruce trees. They're being blown over in his yard, just making a mess. It's a terrible wind out there today. And I don't really feel like going out and working in it. But we must forge ahead. Shelter operations. shelter I have here. There's trees all around, but that wind is just kind of swirling down into this little spot. Cursed wind. I'll have to check back on these guys tonight after this storm passes. Getting just a little bit of snow now, but we're not expecting too much precipitation, just tremendous wind. That's hunker down and endure it, I guess.